Gloria, come on up. Let's give a round of applause for Gloria.
How's everybody doing? So glad you're all here. Welcome. I'm going to talk to you about compassion fatigue tonight. It's also known as secondary traumatic stress. It's basically when you have pieces of your heart break off because you're helping people who have broken hearts because of whatever trauma they've gone through. I'm very passionate about compassion fatigue because I know a lot of people who give a lot of care, and I care about the caregivers, and that's what this is about tonight. Vicarious traumatization or secondary traumatic stress, it affects professional helpers, therapists, social workers. That list is not all inclusive, so if you don't see your profession and you feel like you're a caregiver, please don't take offense. There's also people who are non-professional helpers, like parents who have special needs children, and with all the baby boomers taking care of aging parents, there's an awful lot of people that are giving care to people who need it. And Ms. Carter, Jimmy Carter's wife, said that there are only 4 kinds of people in the world: those who have been caretakers, those who are currently caretakers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need a caregiver. So caregiving, it affects us all. What does it look like? If you listen to Wendy, she talked about quite a bit of this. It's about stress, too much of everything, and too little time in which to do it, too little energy left over after you've attended to the needs of another. More symptoms are the negative effects on someone's well-being, the nervous system, sleep disturbances, the emotional sensitivity increases, and cognitive ability decreases, which is not a happy combination. And then the isolation and loss of morale, depression, and post-traumatic stress syndrome now, not disorder, loss of self-worth and emotional modulation, and your spirituality, worldview, and identity are all impacted by compassion fatigue. Your beliefs and psychological needs are threatened. You feel a loss of hope and meaning, and anger towards perpetrators or perceived causal events of the pain of the people for whom you care. And there are some treatment models that can help reduce that, like harm reduction, narrative therapy, and motivational interviewing. I'm going to talk more about the narrative therapy because I think that it's very valuable in working with clients. I have 13 years experience as a counselor, and I know that when I use narrative therapy, it was good in reducing compassion fatigue. And with narrative therapy, basically, I do need those drugs for my sinuses therapy. It basically allows a person to see whatever their problem is as outside of themselves, and the problem is not themselves, but the problem is their relationship with the problem that's outside of themselves. And the self-care is the biggest thing. Yoga and guns. I don't know about the guns part. It might be fun to go to the range and shoot some targets, but self-care is making a commitment to yourself to choose activities that make you feel good, and that prevents burnout, because compassion fatigue leads to burnout. And if you're a business owner, you know one of your biggest expenses is having turnover in your employees because their morale is so low that they get burnout and they leave. Sometimes they leave a career, not just a job that they work their career at. And it's important to take care of your physical and emotional health. Obviously, they're connected. And simple things like a healthy diet, getting enough rest, going to the doctor to get checkups when you're not feeling well, and your psychological and spiritual health. We don't talk a lot about spiritual health, but it's important to have a sense of purpose and meaning, and to interconnect with other people and with whatever God of your understanding that you can, and manage your stress as much as you can by doing things like knowing what resources are available and getting help from message boards, local support groups, etc. And it's really important to use things like relaxation techniques, visualizing something peaceful for you that relieves your stress, meditation. I use personally drums. I like to drum, and I have ambient sound drums that create, like I have a ocean drum, creates the sound of being on the beach. It's very soothing, and it reduces my stress greatly. And become educated about what caregivers' needs are, and that's blank on purpose. because if you are interested in these slides or more information about compassion fatigue, you can just email KMUW and they'll give you my email address. Thank you.